Welcome to the Sales Lead Dog Podcast, hosted by CRM technology and sales process expert Christopher Smith, talking with sales leaders that have separated themselves from the rest of the pack. Listen to find out how the best of the best achieve success with their team and CRM technology. And remember, unless you are the lead dog, the view never changes.
Welcome to Sales Lead Dog. Today on our episode of Sales Lead Dog, I have joining me Simon Severino of Strategy Sprints. Simon, welcome to Sales Lead Dog.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me.
So Simon, tell me a little bit about Strategy Sprints and what you're doing there.
So 21 years ago, I did fall in love with one thing, and it was the go-to-market challenge. Because teams who were in the room with me, you remember flip charts and being in a hotel somewhere outside, and you have the executive team, and they're looking at you like, oh, please come up with an idea. We need to beat competition, right? We need to be one step ahead of our competitor. And I was like, guys, it's Thursday. We are not going anyway. Can we please stay 3 days longer? I think we need maybe until Sunday or even Monday. No problem, Simon. No problem. We have to get this right. We will not get out of this room before we have a solution. How we enter the market, how we crush it in the market. And I was like, this is amazing. It's relevant. It's meaningful. We are so connected. We are so focused. We are in the flow, right? 5 days go by without nothing. And then we get out there and we are proud of our results. I was in love with this. And I have never, I had other topics where people asked me for, like culture change or transformation, innovation, but none of the topics felt so vital in terms of, visceral and also intellectually stimulating. So I loved it so much that I did nothing else the next 21 years. Every day, that's what I did. Go-to-market coaching, which then became go-to-market consulting and creating tools for that, and now running a global business about that.
Yeah, that's awesome. So when you work with sales leaders, what's the number one area you're engaging them on and trying to help them through that number one problem you're engaging them on?
Right now, it's how to increase market relevance. So how to be relevant, more relevant, and still relevant. Let's break it apart.
Yeah.
The first thing is, most listeners right now are facing a slower economy or maybe even a recession. So most of us are preparing for resilience. Some companies are cutting 10%, 15%, 30% staff. And every sales leader is thinking about, what do I need to change? What do I need to prepare for? So let's talk maybe about that. One thing that has to change is the relevancy of your offer. You can't just do whatever worked last year. Please don't do that. Please really stop, pause for a moment and think, the people who you are here to serve and to create value for, because that's sales, right? Creating value. How is their life changing right now? How does your conversation need to adapt, and your offering need to adapt? And maybe it's a huge change, maybe not, but that will be determined by this conversation. And that's, I think, priority one, to have this conversation with your people, with the people that you're here to serve. And the second is to stop taking decisions. Oh, and maybe we have to complete the first point, because in a crisis, sales is around the vitals. What are the vitals? Features are not vital. They might be amazing, but they are not vital. What are the vitals? The vitals are time and money. And money can be cost reduction by %. And time, everything that's technology is time. So if you're listening right now and you go, well, but I'm a tech company, well, then you're in the time business. Because technology works because it saves us time. You know, it can do stuff that my hands can just slowly do or barely do. Or my head, right? Or my eyes, or my ears. That's technology. So first, reflect how is the life of your clients changing? And second, really, are you offering around the vitals, or are you still offering features? So go back to the vitals, link the features back to the vitals, and make sure you're offering things that are right now absolutely relevant. You might diversify again after the next bull run, but this is not the time to diversify. So that's the first part around the offer. The second is around how you organize internally, because this is the time you want to be agile. Now everybody's talking about it, but what is it? Right? I wrote a book about the agile company. The book is called Strategy Sprints. And one main point in there is you want to be organized like Lego, not like Duplo. If you have kids, you know the difference. You have a Lego piece, let's say it's a horse with a cowboy on it. You can rebuild it. You can use the same element, rebuild it, and have a house with pool. You rebuild it again, it's a tennis court. Same elements. That's agile. You can quickly create a different offer from those elements. If you have Duplo, the cowboy stays the cowboy. That's it. That's rigid. And we are right now in the time where we need to adapt quickly. We need to learn quickly, adapt quickly in iterations. So how do you organize as a sales leader your department, being it 5 people or 1,700 people? The concept is the same. You want to have a daily habit, a weekly habit, and a monthly habit in your team. And that is what I call sales leadership. So because we were discussing, right, what is sales leadership? And I have high standards for that. And in these times, you know, they hit home. So my standard is, if you're a sales leader, you make sure there is the daily habit of time management, the weekly habit of numbers management, and the monthly habit of actually strategic analysis and rebudgeting. Let me go deeper. Daily habit is, how did I allocate my time today? What will I delegate or automate tomorrow? Can be to a software, but it's important that I do it as a sales leader and everybody in my team does it. Also the assistants, also the virtual assistants, everybody. This is how we lead. And a leader enables leadership in every position. Because you want a resilient system, not just, you know, you leading. Because it's about the system and the legacy that you leave behind when you go. And then the weekly habit, having one marketing number, one sales number, and one operations number on your weekly dashboard. Now, at this point, salespeople go, I'm a sales guy. I don't care about the marketing number. I couldn't care less about the marketing number. And, and this is where I disagree. Right. Because sales is represented in marketing. Marketing is represented in sales. Operations is represented in sales. Oh my God, operations. I have to talk to operations. Those guys. Yes, I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. But it will be better for everybody. It might be an awkward first meeting. That's why we have sprint coaches installing the sprint dashboard with you. But those meetings will get so good very quickly.
Yes.
And I see from your nodding, I don't have to explain why, right? You align and you really integrate setting and closing, which is so important, right? And delivering.
Yep.
That's the weekly habit.
That's right.
And the monthly habit is strategic analysis. Where are we winning against our competitors in what we do? Where are they eating our lunch? And then literally in the sprint method, we rebudget. So we cut 15% from the features where we're losing against our competitors this week. And we reallocate them in the next month in the budget. So we will have 2 features where we're currently winning. We will spend 15% more attention and money on them. That's a better strategic position. Now it's harder for anybody to eat our lunch. It's easier for us to eat their lunch. And that's what I expect from a sales leader, that he creates this position.
Right. So you said some interesting things in there that I want to unpack a little bit deeper. And, one of those was we were kind of chuckling about the conversation with operations, but, I find in my world, when we talk with salespeople, it's not uncommon for them to say, hey, I have no idea what happens when we close a deal. Now it's passed off to operations to begin implementing, delivering whatever product or service we sold. I have no insight into that. And if you don't have that insight, you're not having that feedback loop that's going to allow you to be agile and make those adjustments, right?
It's such important information that you miss and that they miss. Think about the other side. Operations has no clue what the customer really needs, what's changing, what's coming. To me, the salesperson, and especially the sales leader, is a commercial educator of everybody. Like, I see something because I'm in different industries every day. I see something, I see what's coming. Let me teach you. And that's the same. This is what happens in a good sales conversation. Right. And this is what happens with your colleagues. So you tell operations, hey guys, this is what's coming.
Yeah.
There are the bees who go outside. I just saw this beautiful movie, Bee Movie, with my kids. It's amazing. It's by Jerry Seinfeld. Yeah. And so there are the bees that go outside, strong bees, very courageous. For me, that's the sales team, right? They go outside. What? And the other bees are inside just working. That's operations. And they go, what, guys? You go out there, but it's dangerous. But at the same time, those are the courageous bees, the strong bees. They have the knowledge. They see stuff. So when they come back, please ask them, what did you see? Tell me, what did you see? Yeah.
Yeah, having those feedback loops and that communication is critical, to the overall success. It's all about, the sale process is about, 20% of that relationship. You want this client for the long term. And for that's operations, that's delivery, that's customer success. Sales has to set those people up to succeed. And those people need to communicate back to sales that when we go back to that customer for that next opportunity, for that cross sale or that upsell, whatever it is, they need to know what's going on, right?
Yeah. And when you start integrating them, magic starts to happen. The first quick wins are you understand each other more, the numbers get more relevant for the both of you. Because marketing, before they talk to you, marketing thinks that the number of brochures is a metric, right? And then by talking to you, they realize, oh, that's not helpful at all. Tell me the number of engagements. Tell me the number of people who clicked on the website today, and tell me in the first 2 hours, right? And tell me their buying intent and give me their number. That's what a salesperson wants to have, right? So marketing gets educated about sales. Sales gets educated about marketing. What are people really clicking? What are they doing? What is a thumb stopper right now for them? Super important to know. So what's coming up? And then operations. This is really where the magic happens, because the first sales is done by the sales team, but the second is done by the operations team. When you keep people, when you retain them, upsell them, cross-sell them. So that's monetary magic right there. Profit, low cost of acquisition, high conversion rate. It's easier to retain than to close. So amazing on first point. Second point, something that we are doing a lot with our clients. How can you create energy in the operations that creates a peak moment on purpose? So we like to develop like levels, like when you play a video game. Whoa, congrats, you just unlocked level 2. Ta-da! Now we start in sales by having that in the sales script. And please don't say a sales script is old school, it's 80s. It's not, okay?
Right.
if it feels like a script, it's wrong. It should never feel like a script. But writing a script, rehearsing a script is still the professional way to go. And for a long time, still. It's just, you have to rehearse it in a way that's natural, but please have a script, and everybody knows the script in the team. And also do the sales role plays around it. ABC role play,
Right.
ABC role play, 15 minutes in the morning. Amazing energy that you create. Not every sales team does that. Please do it. Good method. And then those levels are already in the sales script. So when you talk to the customer, you say, I'm seeing this and I can bring you there. And you explain that in levels. In level 1, you don't own your data. Let's say you are an IT or business intelligence sales guy. And so you say, all right, level 1, you don't own your data. You have data, but you don't own it. You don't collect it. Level 2, you own it, you collect it, and you use it. Level 3, you let other people pay for it. And so they start understanding what you can do with data. And also they start to getting excited and say, oh, that's a plan. I like that plan. Let's go. You de-risk it. You show them you did it 12 times. It worked. Now you move on. You hand it over to operations. Now they have a roadmap.
Right.
And with that roadmap, I would really recommend that they report back to you. We have just unlocked level 1, and they have you in copy. Hey, congrats, you just unlocked level 1. And the sales guy comes in, drinks a coffee again, and in like a good key account system. And then at level 2, you ask, oh, congrats, you just unlocked level 2. By the way, who else needs this?
Right.
Now, that's the best referral engine that you can build. If everybody does that, you have a great organic sales system built in. Great for professional services.
Yep. What are some of the other challenges you're seeing that, when you're engaging with sales leadership that they're struggling with?
Right now, it's again change. And it's since 21 years that it's change. The content is different. Now it's the blockchain that I see coming and AI. And I see again people not prepared. Mm-hmm. I had other topics 20 years ago. It was EV and energy, etc. Now it's blockchain as an example, right, or AI as an example. For still, it's really hard for people. If you have done your stuff for 15 years, 20 years very successfully, and now you lead a big department, I see people losing their sharp edge and just, being comfortable. Mm-hmm. And so when you start that, what happens is, for example, we have now exponential technologies that you don't see them in the building phase. Now we are in the building phase.
Right.
If we look at a blockchain or AI, it's like you're building a house, but now it's just a brick and the brick and the brick, and you pass by and say, oh, a brick, okay, nothing special. Next day, a brick. Next week, a brick. 6 months later, you go, holy cow, when did they build this house? Now it's in front of you and it's huge, right? Yep. And this is something that I'm seeing. People don't yet realize, like really viscerally realize, that exponential technologies are different than what we have experienced. It's like the internet. Yes, it took 20 years for the internet, which is a very long time. But hey, what used to be TV got sucked into this black hole. And now if you are a TV and you want somebody to watch your stuff, you have to put it on YouTube. Right. Same thing is happening in blockchain. And it's sucking in the financial services first, then everything that has an intermediary like law firms, accountants, etc., will be sucked in. Yep. One after the other, there will be the same effect that the internet had. It's a black hole for everything. Yep. And I meet many sales leaders and I tell them, what is your roadmap for that? How do you lead the conversation with your clients? And they say, oh no, that's so far away, it's in 15 years. I say, maybe yes, maybe those 15 years are now accelerated.
Oh yeah, big time, especially AI. I see that. I've had several conversations where AI is going to have a major impact on certain industries. One of which is the CPA accounting firms, where big chunk of their business is tax, right? Producing tax returns and all that. They may be aware, or maybe they don't know, that IBM and Microsoft and some of these big tech firms are investing millions, if not billions of dollars into AI that within 10 years are going to be doing everyone's tax returns and doing it way better than any human can do. And so if you're building your business around this, because, hey, this is the way we've always done it, there's stuff coming down the road that is going to be a major disruption. I mean, look at what TikTok has done to Facebook. It has been just, they're getting crushed, and it's all because of transformative technology, a different way of doing things, a different way of engaging people in ways that they want to see. And, you have to be on the watch for that. Mark Zuckerberg probably wishes he would have paid more attention to TikTok, right?
Yes. And this is exactly what you are doing right now, is exactly what I would like every sales leader to do, to be prepared, to be observant, and to have the facts, so that when you show up to the accounting firm, you say, hey, Mark Zuckerberg this quarter puts in 25 billion into the metaverse. Now, this is scenario one. It's just a goggle. This is scenario two. All your kids are in the metaverse. This is scenario three. And educating them and preparing them and holding the space for that exploration and that conversation. Because if you do that well, you are already selling, you're creating expertise, you're creating value in the conversation itself. And I think this is modern sales. You create value in the conversation itself through your relationship to them, to how you relate to the problems at hand and the big question marks that they have. And if you can hold the space, and if you show that you are prepared and you are present enough to tackle the real topics, instead, of pushing some products over. This is, I think, the valuable sales conversation to have.
Yep. And it's hard sometimes for people to truly lead when you're seeing that stuff coming. I had a conversation with a gentleman, earlier this week, where his message was like, basically, don't mess with my sandbox. I'm going to be retiring in about 2 years. Let the next person deal with it. And so he just wanted status quo because he sees the end of his road, but he's not doing his company, his business, anything. He's not helping them at all. They're basically going to be stuck in the mud because of his leadership or lack of leadership over the next 2 years. He's not doing anything to position them because he just doesn't want to be forced out of his comfort zone. He's very comfortable, as you were saying, and I don't want to change.
These are situations that I also encounter, and it's tough as an external consultant. I get asked, of course, by the executive team, like, who are our top people, and who are the others, and how are they behaving? And when you look at sales leadership, that means that you look in a systemic way.
Right.
You have to look at global optima, like what's the best for the whole company, including the clients. And you cannot tolerate any part optimizing in form of a local optima. So when you have people 2 years before retirement, they usually optimize for local optima, right? Okay, I just have 3 years. Let me just pull it off. And this is a moment where you have to have tough conversations, and you have to intervene drastically, and you might have to fire them.
Right.
And it's different in different countries, and you need to do it very, very carefully and very respectful. But this is an important conversation, and leadership starts with the tough conversations, because every other conversation, everybody can have that.
Right.
But if we are leaders, we can hold the space for the challenging conversations and do them in a fruitful way, always for the best of the whole system.
Yep. No, exactly. And it's like, that's why you're a leader. You're supposed to be the person who's doing the things that are hard, that are difficult. You know, if it was easy, if it was just nothing but easy, what do they need you for, right? You know, you have to be willing to put your neck on the line to a certain extent to do the stuff that's hard.
And this is something they don't teach you in business school, and they don't teach you in school, how to fire somebody.
Yep.
Nobody teaches that.
No.
Yeah, I was in business school. You don't, there is no curriculum for that, unfortunately. There are more and more courses about the tough conversations, challenging conversations. I'm very glad about that. It's very important. But yeah, this is something that, you know, we have to learn through experience, and that's the journey of becoming a sales leader.
That's right. That's right. That you have to be the person that's willing to do those hard things, and deal with the consequences of that too. That I'm in an entrepreneurial group, and one of the sayings that I've heard over and over again is hire slowly but fire quickly. And you know that when you get to that point where you know like this is not the right fit, you have to pull a trigger, because yeah, it might be difficult in the short term right after you do that, but usually you're going to be so much better off in the long run. You know, just don't hesitate, pull the trigger and move on.
You always have to think about the others, right? What's the effect on the others if they see you acknowledging something that is toxic, but
Right.
you don't change?
That's right.
Now that multiplies the toxicity for them.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. And that's, I think sometimes people forget about that, hey, this person's not performing, they're not getting it done, but he's letting it slide or she's letting it slide. So I guess I don't need to worry about it as much, right? You know, or why should I be busting my back to get all this stuff done if these other people aren't, and there's no consequence.
And the best people are the most sensitive to those kind of things. And they go, I don't want to be in this culture.
Yeah, that's a really great point, that, you know, you have to protect your best people. Yeah. So what are some of the other issues that you'd like to engage with when it comes to sales leadership?
I like bringing together the numeric side with the technological side, with the social side. So the numeric side, very simple, every day, quick meeting. Okay, how many follow-ups did you do? What's the closing rate right now? What's the chigging? I want to hear a sound all the time. Chigging, 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 every day.
Yep.
And so I literally have these sounds here, different kind of, there is the small sound, but also the bigger closed deal. So the sound, the emotion, and that's the daily numeric part, right? Closed deal, closed deal, closed deal. Number of follow-ups. Also, the numeric part is having one dashboard, marketing number, sales number, ops number, and we are always looking at these three things, and we want them to go slightly up.
Yep.
That's also psychologically important. But then also the technological side. You know, there is no excuse anymore why salespeople shouldn't all use one CRM. You know, I'm sure you know the discussion, oh, these guys are not entering anything into the CRM, etc.
Right.
Yes, 10 years ago, you could say, it's a waste of time, come on. I don't want to enter their data.
Right.
I get it. But there is no excuse anymore, because we all have a CRM that works on our phone and it does data entry for you.
Yep.
You click data enrichment, it does it for you. And I'm excited about features that we never had, like the buyer intent.
Yes.
Like, come on, people, on your phone right now, you can see the buyer intent in even in cheap CRMs.
Right.
You can see who is looking for your solution right now. So if that is not exciting, come on. And you don't need to travel so much. We had to fly so much. and to be on the road. And now you can be at home, you click 20 things, you did your morning, chiging. So the role of the salesperson, I think, is still very important. It always was vital. But now we have technology helping us. That's absolutely exciting. So we as sales leader, I think we have to be the enabler and the role models for those tools and to not tolerate any excuse. And then the social side, right? How do we create the conversation around fairness? Hey, those people are meeting their numbers. They are not meeting their numbers. How can I create an atmosphere where they call each other out and not just me being the supervisor calling everybody out, but creating an atmosphere of shared leadership and shared responsibility? And then the biggest challenge, how do you create cohesion when you are distant, when you just Zoom with each other? So I miss the Christmas party and all these kind of things where we just meet, and we try to replicate that in Zoom. But it's hard to involve all the senses and all the same thing. You just don't smell people.
No, exactly. I just had that conversation with someone that I have a tremendous amount of respect for. He's retired CEO, big time sales guy for 40 years. He's enjoying his dream life now, but he was saying today, he was having this conversation. One of his big concerns, because he's now working advising other companies, one of his big concerns now is sales leaders are not managing this transition from selling in 3D, where you're going in front of the people, it's all three-dimensional. Now you're selling in 2D, where everything's being done over Zoom. And to your point, like, you can't smell them, you can't see what their room really looks like, and you can't have that little chit-chat type stuff that you do when you're 3D. It's a totally different way of engaging and building relationships in 2D.
Yeah. And we're still exploring ways every day in trying out stuff to bring those senses more into it. And how do you create cohesion in a team if it's so easy, right, to run away or to hide away from conflict? How do you tackle tensions in a team if it's so easy just to go away? Because Zoom it's on one side, Zoom is very direct. You always look somebody in the eye, right? You cannot look anywhere else. You cannot look out the window. You're always very confrontative. But it's also a great place to hide.
Right.
So, and that's interesting. And I'm curious how we all will tackle this. And I think the function of the sales leader is to hold space for exactly this thing and be vulnerable and say, I don't know it, but let's find out.
Simon, I think that's an idea for a future podcast episode for us, that maybe we can tackle that in the next session we do together here on Sales Lead Dog. But unfortunately, we are at our time now for this episode. Simon, if people want to reach out and connect with you, they want to learn more about strategy sprints and what you're doing in your consulting engagements, what's the best way for them to connect with you?
They can grab the book, Strategy Sprints, on Amazon, or they can come to our website, strategysprints.com. We share many tools. They're open source for sales team leaders and department leaders on how to organize the team, the culture, the numeric side, the technological side. And they're open source, strategysprints.com.
And you can also find Simon on LinkedIn. We'll have all this information in our show notes, so be sure to check that out on impellercrm.com/sales lead dog, where you'll find show notes for Simon's episodes, as well as all the other episodes of Sales Lead Dog. Simon, thank you so much for coming on Sales Lead Dog, and welcome to the Sales Lead Dog pack.
Thank you. Keep rolling, everybody.
As we end this discussion on Sales Lead Dog, be sure to subscribe to catch all our episodes. On social media, follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. Watch the videos on YouTube, and you can also find our episodes on our website at impellercrm.com/Sales Lead Dog. Sales Lead Dog is supported by Impeller CRM, delivering objectively better CRM for business, guaranteed.